Well, now that everybody else and their extended family members have had a take or three on the events of last weekend, I figured it was about time for me to jump on the bandwagon as well and offer my own perspective on things. Because whilst I do not necessarily talk about politics directly in terms of, policy and elections all that often, I do talk a lot about the culture surrounding our entertainment and how it is affected by politics and ideology, perhaps even more accurately, and how it would seem to be better for everyone involved if we could somehow get politics the hell back out of our entertainment culture. But this does in turn, of course, mean that I do have to pay a fair bit of attention to politics, as it is what is currently affecting our entertainment culture to such an enormous degree. And this is why the, make no mistake, historic events of last weekend is at once a shock and a surprise, and yet also eminently predictable, as it is the culmination of a very, 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 very long and deliberate lie told to coarsen and make our politics more aggressive and more caustic. And furthermore, make no mistake, this is not a both sides thing. This is something that was created quite specifically and intentionally for the purpose of gaining power, first and foremost, for the left wing of politics and its new ideology. Wokeism, social justice, cultural Marxism, call it what you will. It is a far broader movement within the left that managed to weaponize accusations and managed to create political power for itself by accusing its enemies of whatever the worst thing it could imagine at the time was. That is at the root of this, and we're going to get into that a little bit more specifically as retaining to Donald Trump in a moment. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the reception here, because hey, on the bright side, no matter how bad my take is, it is going to pale in comparison to the mainstream media during the events, with things like Trump removed from the stage by Secret Service after loud noises startled the former president. Oh boy, or Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after he falls at rally. Yeah, I've got quite a bit of a room underneath me here to fail towards, so that's good. Or Jean Psaki here, John, the former spokesman for, was it Obama or Biden? Former White House spokesperson. I'm just going to play you her clip, as it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect.
For anyone out there who has a platform, who thinks the moment right now is to be political and attack the other party, you are feeding into the danger. You are making it more likely there's retaliation. I'm incredibly scared. I'm scared for journalists. I'm scared for people who have public platforms of all parties, and that's how people should feel.
Donald Trump is shot. Journalists most affected. Just to introduce a moment of meme levity to all of this, as there has been quite a bit of flying off the hinges after this, with I'm so sad they missed trending minutes after the assassination attempt, and some content creators, with Destiny probably being the foremost amongst them, having flown off the handle on this to a degree that is difficult to believe, to the point where his little collage of his greatest hits has been put together and reached the attention of Elon Musk, who has apparently demonetized Destiny over his comments. And you know what? As somebody who remembered the dark old days where people from my side of the aisle would be demonetized or banned off YouTube for the slightest infraction, I do have to admit a certain sense of schadenfreude over all of this. Though I will also point out that the right has been spreading some pretty crazy theories as well, like this 4chan post, alleging to be from one of the snipers who took out the assassin at the rally, claiming that he had him in his sight for a full 3 minutes and he was ordered not to take him out. This was then reposted on Twitter, of course, with the usual flashing lights and breaking news alarms, which I now instinctually react to as if they were the purest form of nonsense that humanity has ever created, since Gramsci, anyways. And this is virtually certainly not true. If it was, the guy would be speaking to Fox News, not 4chan, and There are a million explanations for why the snipers didn't take the shot. Good ones as well. I mean, hell, you are sitting there, you are posted on a roof, and this isn't even your area of expertise. You know, you have, what was it, 3 layers of security, the close end, the middle, and the long range. These guys are supposed to be looking for threats way, way out there. Not a dude on a roof 150 meters away that, to be fair, should have been cleared. The greatest security mistake wasn't the sniper not taking the shot, it was that silly goddamn roof not having an officer posted on it. But imagine it from the sniper's point of view. Why didn't he take the shot? You see a guy on a rally crawling on a roof. He's carrying something. And you can tell from the snipers when they're talking to each other, this guy lifts his head and is like, because that's the idiot reaction your brain has when it sees something and it goes like, that can't be real. We're in rural America. There isn't a guy on the roof opposite with a rifle. That's silly. Takes face-off scope to check with his own eyes. Because again, that's what your silly brain tells you to do when you see something you just can't even believe. Again, there's a lot of reasons why the sniper didn't just shoot the guy, especially as, hey, 99.9% of the time, this isn't a dude with a gun, it's some local tard that figures he'd climb up on a roof for a better view, so I don't think conspiracy is the simplest explanation to what happened here. What I think is the simplest explanation is this. Yeah, pretty easy actually. This is what I meant when I said this is not a both sides thing. This has been primarily spurred on by the modern day brand of leftism that has gained institutional power largely by accusing its enemy of being the worst things that it could come up with. Racist, Nazi, sexist, homophobe, etc, etc, etc. It is that form of accusation politics that created this, as Trump has been depicted as Hitler and described as Hitler probably more so than any other person in goddamn Hitler history beyond the dude himself. When this is the cover of mainstream publications like Der Spiegel, are you surprised that people might begin to take it seriously after 8+ years of this? It can happen, and if it does, here's what might become of the country. What American fascism would look like with a full-blown article, a full-blown Trump thing, and more articles as well. Like, yes, that's right, American fascism. Why waste time debating the extent of Trump's fascism when we ought to be fighting it instead? We've had damn near a decade of this. And if we're going to go back into the idea of accusation politics, we've got more than a decade of this now. This is how the modern day progressive left got into power, by wielding the power of accusations. And if you keep doing this for long enough, eventually somebody's going to think that you're telling the truth, to the point that you have one of the largest French left-wing papers go, Donald Trump, a history of violence. Not to mention, of course, the Donald Trump is a threat to democracy spiel that the Democrats have been pumping out, with most famously of all probably Biden's famous red speech. Here's the thing. If you actually genuinely believe that Donald Trump is the American fascist, that he is the killer of liberty, that he is actually Hitler reborn, and he is a threat to American democracy, then yes, any action taken against him is justified. That is the entire point of the American idea of liberty, the revolt against Britain for, taxation representation. I've forgotten the exact verbiage right now because I'm retarded, but you get the gist. If Trump is actually Hitler, then this is justified. The problem is, nobody believes he's Hitler. The Democrats don't actually believe Trump is a threat to democracy. Now, this prescient fucking article was posted a few days before the assassination attempt, but of course nobody believes it. There is even now rumors going around that all ad spends from the Democrats are suspended. Anything at all like threat to democracy is cancelled because they understand that this is what causes this. If you keep saying this man will destroy American democracy, that is you saying any action taken against him is justified. And again, this is merely an extension of the Nazi, racist, misogynist that we have seen for the last decade. It is the worst allegation you can level against your opponent, repeated ad infinitum, in the hope that simple repetition alone will make it true in the eyes of the public and in the eyes of the institutions at large. That is the idea, that is the tactic, that is the strategy, as has now been thoroughly demonstrated. It's been going for 10 years now. And for the majority of this, the right didn't even know what was happening. See, here's the thing. You can make the argument that the right has, of course, been reacting, that Donald Trump is in himself a more aggressive response. And this is true, but it is reactionary. The right was a sedentary party. The Republicans in America were viewed as the boring party of rich old white men, etc., when that meant something a little bit different than today. It was the party of Obama, change. What was the change? Well, change that represented something new and vital. And the right has been trying to find itself, in essence, for the last 10 odd years plus. And Donald Trump is a reaction to the left, not the other way around. As again can be seen by this nonsense right here, by the famous red speech. No, the assassination attempt on Donald Trump was absolutely as a result of the left's rhetoric. And the Democrats themselves know this, because again, if you genuinely believe this, the reaction to an assassination attempt on Donald Trump wouldn't be good, I hope he's fine. Oh, good. Good, I hope he's fine, I hope he's okay, and I condemn all forms of political violence. It would be, yes, political violence, good. I mean, in this sense, at least, Destiny is on a correct track according to his own beliefs, if nothing else. Instead, Biden, all of the Democrats, this is terrible, we can't be doing this. But you were telling us he's literally Hitler. The question then is, where do we go from here? Now, the best way to handle this, the best solution for this, is that the Republicans too will do nothing. Not right now. Nothing. Let it settle down. Use this for all it is worth, of course, and I mean, that picture alone right there is the single most powerful piece of political PR you have damn near ever seen. It is, I mean, I see why people are claiming that this is a miracle right here. Donald Trump wounded by a gunshot that missed him by millimeters as he turned his head. The American flag in the background, and poetically, it is upside down. Trump with his fist in the air. It is an incredible shot. It is a fantastic shot. And it damn near guarantees not merely an electoral victory, but a mandate the likes of which you have not seen since the founding fathers. This is the victory that the Republicans and Donald Trump need to take. Not the victory against the Democrats' rhetoric. This is not the time to square that up. This is the time to seize complete political power, absolute political authority, and then begin the ideological purge. Because again, this comes from one side of the spectrum. Does the other side respond? Absolutely. But there is a clear and identifiable problem here that does need to be dealt with. And, to be fair, Trump didn't deal with it the first time around. This time, he is going to have a mandate to do whatever he wants. And in all due likelihood, he probably is. there is a lot of reforms that America could highly benefit from here, and a lot of them might not be particularly appealing to the Republican Party. They might not even be appealing to Donald Trump himself. But there are reforms on immigration, which is out of control in the US. There are reforms on things like political donations, which would be nice to see reformed in the US, and there are absolutely problems with the rhetoric. Now again, this is why the Republicans shouldn't be saying or doing really anything. This is an opportunity to get up on the highest horse you have ever seen and reinstate a measure of political civility by sheer overwhelming authority. This is an opportunity to say, no, we will all behave now, or else. And maybe, God willing, this will be exactly the kind of shock that is required for all the politicians to take a long step back and ask themselves if grievance politics, if identity politics, if progressivism, wokeism again, whatever you wish to call it, if that easy path to power is actually worth the unavoidable consequences of wielding it. I feel like I'm being awfully optimistic here, but hey, I'm allowed to be an optimist every now and then, aren't I? Do let me know what you think in the comment section down below, as I'd love to hear from you all on this matter, of course. And until next time, I have been Arch. Thank you all very much for listening, and I hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.